What's up, boys, girls? Good evening, and welcome to tonight's edition of Kate's Side with Christopher James. I am Christopher James. That's it. I'm Christopher James. Anyway, good to have you guys jumping on board tonight, man. Lots to talk about. I have a guest in the green room, the virtual green room. Yes, we have the virtual green room. He's eating grapes and being, serenaded by beautiful women, fanning him down right now. But when he comes on, you won't see any of that because I make them disappear before I bring the guests in. But, maybe you can get in our virtual green room one day. Before we bring him in, though, real quick, and we're going to talk about all this. I might even have one of these guys on the show in a little while. Dana White's Contender Series just finished up. 5 fights. All 5 winners took home contracts. Imba Kasanganai, he'll actually be fighting in the UFC in 11 days, which is crazy. TJ Laramie, Corey McKenna, Adrian Yanez, and Dustin Stoltzfus, all take-home contracts. Dana White said he was in a great mood, and he just got off vacation, so he was awarding contracts, and everybody got one, man. It was like an Oprah Winfrey thing. You get a car. You get a car. Everybody gets a car. Tonight it's everybody gets a contract. So I think we should all chip in and send Dana to that vacation spot, wherever it made him so happy, once a month. And everybody in the UFC would be a lot happier. Maybe, when he comes back vacation, guys can go, hey, Dana, can I get a, raise on my contract? Sure, you get a raise. You get a raise. Everybody gets a raise. But you got to catch him right when he comes home for vacation. Otherwise, you're fucked, man. Then you don't get shit. But anyway, speaking of getting a raise and elevation and a level change in life, I'm about to bring on my first guest. I've known this guy. When I say I know him, doesn't mean I've been in contact with him. I haven't been in contact with him for a long time, but I've known him. I've announced his name inside the XFC cage years ago. He was one of the guys to fight John Jones early in John Jones' career. Yes, of course, because John didn't have any losses. So, this guy lost to John Jones, which is not a bad thing. Look at all the other people who lost to John Jones too. So it's not like, God, you lost to John Jones. No, it's like, damn, you fought John Jones. That's the way you got to look at that. But he's always been a cool cat. He's a big dude. He's a nice guy. He's got twin sons. He's got a new baby. Life is going good and all that stuff, right? And then he gets a call from the UFC. Hey, you want to come hang out with us? Fight on the UFC 252 card? Daniel Cormier, Stipe Miocic. Who the fuck would say no to that? So we're going to bring him in right now. He looks like a happy, smiling dude, but once the door closes, he does take things serious. And if you're on the other end of that, you should be wary of what you're about to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show for the very first time, Mr. Parker Porter. What's up, brother?
How's it going, Chris, man? Long time no see.
Same shit, smaller shovel.
Yeah.
It's just, that's how life works, man. But before we get rolling into everything, the standard question I've been asking everybody, I'm going to start out with you too, and then we'll get all caught up and all that good stuff, is I want you to tell us about your life prior to the pandemic, training, taking care of your kids, the whole thing, and how it was before, and then what adjustments you had to make to continue to thrive and move forward in the pandemic era.
Yeah. So, everything was going great right before the pandemic hit. I had a fight scheduled for May. They were trying to make it a title fight with CES. I was just on a roll. I fought my last 5 fights. I won 4 out of the 5. CES had just started doing shows in my own hometown, which was a really cool experience. And I just won those 2 fights at the Hartford Convention Center back in Connecticut. And I felt like I was on a tear. My training was going great. Everything was just in a solid schedule, good routine. And then blam, sideline with everything. Everything had to pretty much stop dead in its tracks. And it was really shocking at first, we were just like, when is this going to be over? When can I get back to my normal routine? Little did we know that we probably would never get back to what we thought was a normal routine again. And I had to make adjustments. I actually, for a period of time in the very beginning, I had a squat rack set up in my living room. And we're doing some home improvement projects around the house. So I took a spot that was currently under construction and decided to drill a speed bag right into the overhead beam. And without asking my wife, she wasn't too thrilled about that.
Yeah, let me cut you off for a minute. Let me cut you off for a minute. I'm a little older than you. You have actually, I don't know how long you've been married, but I've been around 51, so I've dealt with women. Never, ever do anything to the house, whether it's your wife or just a girlfriend that you shared an abode with, and not tell them.
I know.
That's just stupid, young
saw
man.
it, and I just
Stupid.
she didn't even need to say it. I was just like, okay. She's like, I'm gonna be okay with this because of the circumstances, but that goes as soon as possible. It wasn't even so much that I had done it. It was just obviously the noise of the speed bag is a little monotonous.
Yeah, it definitely wears on you.
Yeah.
So continue. I mean, so now, we're in pandemic time. You got the thing hanging in the thing. Your wife's mad at you for putting the goddamn speed bag up.
But thankfully that was short-lived. Yeah.
Short-lived.
Yep.
By her choice, not yours. And we know that. And that's okay. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So what about dealing with the kids and all that stuff? I know you got two young twin boys, and they are full of energy. They're rambunctious.
Oh my God.
And they're your sons. So, they're a handful.
They're wild. They're such good kids, but they are just like, they're almost like puppies in the sense where if they don't get their energy out, they get themselves into trouble. Like doing the homeschooling and the remote learning thing was it was a struggle in the beginning because it's a routine that they're used to having their environment change, and they do a lot better when they're actually in school paying attention wise. So they were having trouble with that. And it was frustrating for everybody in the beginning, but we managed to get a solid routine going with that and get them happily working on their schoolwork and progressing and everything and meeting their requirements as well. And me not wanting to like throw them out the window. So we managed it pretty well.
I still think you probably want to throw them out the window. Not because
I feel like any father on any given day could feel that way.
Yeah, but I don't think it's because you're mad at them or because you dislike your sons. I think you just want to see how far you could throw them.
So I used to do stuff like that before the pandemic. We would go to the trampoline park and they have the foam pit over there, and they'd be like, "Dad, throw me! Dad, throw me!" And I would set up the camera and like see what kind of distance I could get with each of them, and they had a blast doing it, man. It'll
how
be
far
great
did you
when
get
we can
them?
actually.
How far did you throw?
I got like a solid like 12-foot toss on one of them.
Doggone, dude! Remember there used to be a show on
TV
they were
like 40 pounds each at the time.
That's crazy. There used to be a show. I can't remember what it was, like Tough Man or some stupid thing back in the day. But they tossed dwarves. Like there was like a thing. It was on TV. I know you couldn't do it now in today's day and age, and with the world of political correctness, and
the whole world breaking down your door.
But I'm just gonna tell you, I've seen it. It made me laugh. I'm sorry. It's just something bizarre and weird. People that you're watching me, don't hate me for that, man. It's just you turn on the TV, you see a little dude getting tossed by a gigantic dude, and he goes like 15 feet. I'm sorry that impressed.
You're just like, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, well, these guys, this was a sport. Apparently, there was some kind of league and sanctioning, and I don't even know, man. But it's crazy, right?
So like, imagine, like it's crazy to think about stuff like that like flew by. Like, nobody thought about it twice, and nowadays you'd be like, nope, that's not happening ever.
Yeah. We live in the cancel culture and the world of Karen and Kyle. Karen and Kyle.
Karen.
Horrible.
I like that.
So let's take a step backwards. For you guys, like I said, Parker Porter fights up in the Northeast area of the country. And in the beginning of his career, he fought a young man who was in the beginning of his career named John Jones. That was early in your career.
It was my third fight.
Right. And, you didn't know back then what he was about to become.
Nobody did. Except
nobody
him
did.
And his team.
Except him, him and maybe the little man upstairs.
Yeah.
Do you remember that fight? Now that, all these years come by, because it was your third fight. So do you remember that fight and how did it go? I mean, after you fought him, did you feel the greatness, or you just like, man, I just got beat up by some guy that's probably some scrub, or I mean, really?
I definitely was like, I actually think I went up to him after the fight in the locker room. And I was like, damn, man, that was, congratulations, nice job, like you're gonna go places. And I think I said those words verbatim to him. And then I'm pretty sure his next fight was a UFC contract after that.
Yeah, because he was
right
like
after he fought me.
6-0.
Yeah, he was like 6-0, when he beat me, it made him 7-0. And it was, like I remember being there for the weigh-ins and the warm-ups and stuff, and getting in the ring, and it was in a ring, not in a cage.
Yeah.
So that was different. That was something we were doing back then too. And it was a quick fight, man. Like people always ask me, like, "Yo, what was that like?" I'm like, first of all, it was like 12 years ago. And second of all, I had no business cutting down the light heavyweight. I mean, I'm walking around, I had to cut just a couple of pounds just to make heavyweight for this fight coming up because it's short notice. But like I think that I'm not in any way, shape, or form trying to take anything away from John's abilities and his power that he has, because he clearly demonstrated what he's got numerous occasions.
Yeah.
But I think that definitely sapped my ability to take a hit like I usually could. And he clocked me, man. And I was down on the ground. I hit the canvas and I tried to bounce back up, and I thought I was grabbing him, and I'm pretty sure it was a referee's leg.
Hey, and listen, like I said before, when I was doing your introduction, I told people about the John Jones fight, to me, now knowing the greatness that he has become and saying you're one of the guys that was able to step in there against him as a professional.
Yeah.
That's something to remember, no matter that you lost. And it's something to be cool with, proud of, a little tidbit information.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got no bad blood about it.
Oh, I know you don't,
man.
but I'm saying, like, anybody who fought John Jones, based on, what he's done now, and really he's undefeated. I don't care that he had the one fight where he got the bullshit DQ. He's undefeated in my book.
No, I agree. I tell people the same thing when they ask me about him. I'm like, listen, like, now
Matt Hamill. I couldn't remember for a minute.
No, it was Matt Hamill, and like anybody that watched that fight years ago, even right after he got DQ, it was like that should have been arguably stopped. But like it is what it is, and these kind of things happen in the business. And I had my own DQ recently for an illegal strike to the back of the head that stopped the fight, and what am I going to do about it? Like, these kind of things happen in there. You get in there, you start mixing it up. I'm just glad the dude that I didn't cause any like major problems by doing something by accident.
Yeah, and with the Jones thing, it anybody who fights Jones, and John Jones could end up undefeated in his career. So if you fought him, you're not the only one. You guys could start like a club, man. We fought John Jones Club, and everybody can share their experiences. Daniel Cormier could be the president.
Seriously.
All right. So all joking aside, though, like I said, I think that's a cool thing. Even losing, I just think it's a cool thing that you were able to say that I fought John Jones. There's only going to be 30 other people that could say that, 35 other people that will ever be able to say that in the world. Yeah. So while it sucks to be on the losing end of fighting John Jones, you still got
everybody else has
the greatest.
Too.
Yeah. So and all these other people probably would like the experience with him, even young in his career. So you get that fight, then you come do some stuff with us at the XFC.
Yep.
We have a good time. You go out there and have a good time, man. Good stuff, man. I remember you hanging around, a few guys from your area, you, Nick Newell, all came down and definitely helped. Huh?
Ryan Quinn was there.
Ryan Quinn. Yep. Who else came in from there? There were a few other ones too. Angelo Bodetti, of course, with Nick's and manager and a few of the other guys as well. You guys had a good crew from that area in the Northeast at the time, and fun guys, So, but you came in, you did your work, and then you're having babies. You took a little break from the sport because I didn't see any fight activity.
Yep.
So just give us a quick, from when you stopped, why you stopped, and what made you come back.
So I stopped because I was going through some personal family stuff that I had to take care of and make sure that my 2-year-old sons now, or 1-year-old sons at the time, were well taken care of, and I like had my finances and all my ducks in a row, and I just really had to, unfortunately, put all of my effort into making sure they were all set, and I had all my stuff taken care of and cleared up and ready to go, and then really just to start rebuilding everything. I had a gym in Cheshire for a little while back in Connecticut, and that didn't go so great. We had to close that shop there. I lost a lot of money doing that, and I had to kind of like move back in with my mom for a little bit. I got divorced right around the same time from my twins' mother. And I was right after that happened, I was pretty much living in my mom's basement, making like $200-300 a week for like a month before I started to really kind of be able to get everything back in order and get a schedule together and still have time to take care of my kids and be a good dad and stuff. And now I'm here. So I had to basically lose everything and start from scratch again.
Yeah, and everything you just said that you had to do was the right thing to do. I mean, your sons come first. You have to make sure they're taken care of, like you said. So the gym thing, it happens. I mean,
Yeah,
gym owners open a gym,
businesses come and go, man. Look how
yeah,
many
but
people lost their gym from the pandemic.
especially gyms, even before the pandemic, a gym is one of the toughest things to open and run and maintain a track record of longevity, because they do pop up on all the corners. And then there's,
Yeah.
the Crunch Fitness and the big franchises that come in, and then everybody gets trendy, douchey, and let's go to the Fem
Yeah,
gym.
there's so many
and then there's
trends
not
and
enough,
gimmicks popping up.
right? And there's not enough people to come to your gym, where it's not a gimmick gym. It's a fight training gym, and you're working on that stuff. Along with fitness, you offer everything, but so you don't get the people, because the group that wants to come do what you're doing is smaller. So but you went out there and you tried, and that's the important part. It's not that the gym didn't go well. The fact that you went out there and said, you know what, I'm going to throw my fucking eggs in this basket. I'm going to be my own boss. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to do it. So, that just means that, you're committed to life, and it shows a maturity that you need to have in life, as a parent, as a father, as a husband, as a professional athlete. So, fuck it, dude. There'll be another opportunity for you to come open a big old gym, and then it'll be like, Parker Porter's gym. That's it. And people are going to come in and go, I need to go to Parker Porter. And then you'll be the big franchise coming into town, fucking up the other small guys.
Fingers crossed.
So, hey, if that's what has to happen, that's what has to happen.
Yeah.
So, you said, you had some fights, and, you were on a 4 out of 5 winning, 4 out of 5 of your last fights have been victories.
Yeah.
I talked to you for a minute before we went live, and I started watching you as you were coming up again, watching the fights total up and everything. And I was like, all right, this guy's probably going to end up on the Contender Series either in 2020 or in 2021. And possibly, if the UFC comes and does the Ultimate Fighter, he's another guy that's being talked about as being tabbed to go on there. And I was like, all right, so, he'll get a shot. He'll do one of those. He'll end up in the UFC. And then last week, I'm sitting there, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I was sitting on the toilet. Legitimately, I had a procedure, and I'm doing some stuff, and I'm sitting there, and I'm looking through the phone, and I see something that says, somebody posted on Facebook and said, Parker Porter's in the UFC. And I was like, where the fuck did that come from? So now I started looking around, because, I had been out of the loop for a couple of days, like I said, some health stuff. So I flipped through, I'm like, Parker Porter's in the UFC. Parker Porter. Holy fuck, Parker Porter's in the UFC. And there was like a feeling of joy, like a big brother, little brother type feeling that I had, because, and again, I said at the beginning of the show, we haven't talked in a long time. I do see your stuff. I'm sure you see some of mine. Yeah. So, we kind of know what each other's doing.
We pop up in my newsfeed pretty regularly.
Yeah, I try to, man. That's my goal. I put you up there on my list. Like, I'm able to select certain people to annoy, and I put Parker Porter right at the top, man.
Well, you're one of the few people that I don't go, I don't want to see this anymore.
Well, I appreciate that, dude, because, I try to put up good stuff about fights. You don't get too much of my personal stuff, except if there's health stuff. I like to talk about my health stuff. It's a therapeutic place for me to just dump it. But it's either fight stuff, sometimes my grandson, and food stuff. That's it. Periodically, I'll put up a political post. Periodically, I'll put up something political to piss off the left, because I like to do that. Other than that, I try to keep it on a topic, because most of the people that I'm friends with are from the MMA community, or interested in it, and, I don't want to bore them with, well, listen, I do my laundry this afternoon, and then, I ate, I don't talk about every meal I ate, I'll go to like places and try food out, and I'll do videos, people like video. I don't know why, man. Watching people eat is weird, but people like to watch it. So, it is what it is. So anyway, so I get off the toilet, I wash my hands, because, you wash your hands. And I get on the phone. I'm like, Parker Porter's in the UFC. I'm like, holy fuck, man, this is fucking awesome. Another guy from our era of the XFC getting a shot in a big organization. What was your reaction? Because I'm going to guess this probably came a little bit out of left field for you too.
Yeah, yeah. I was same boat as you. I was expecting like I said, we had the fight scheduled for May with CES. My manager was working on negotiating a title fight for that with them. So I figured, get this title fight, go get a belt, defend it at least once, and then I'll get my contender series shot, or maybe possibly at that point get a call up. And then, middle of the pandemic, I've got a 3-week-old baby at home who decides he's going to sleep from 10:30 at night to 7:30 in the morning, only for me to be woken up by my manager at 1:30. I'm sorry, the baby slept from 10:30 to 7:30. Yeah. And then my manager calls me at 1:30 in the morning. He's like, at first I thought it was a butt dial. So I like hung up on him. I clicked it, put it to silent, and then it rings right away again. And I'm like, what the fuck does this guy want? It's the middle of the night. What are you doing, man? Like, I'm sleeping. And he goes, I just got you a contract with the UFC. Do you want it? And I was like, what? Like, he's like, I got you a contract with the UFC. I don't think I have to ask this question, but I'm obligated to. Do you want it? I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I want it. Why wouldn't I want it? That's like the UFC calls you up in the middle of something like this. You don't even bother asking who you're fighting. You're just like, yeah, sign me the fuck up, man. I'm like, I'm in. Totally. And that's exactly what happened. My wife is like half groggy, like, what's going on? What did Tyson want? Like, I'm like, why on earth would Tyson call me at 1:30 in the morning? And she was like, huh? I'm like, think about it. She's like groggy, like rubbing her eyes. She's like, shut up. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to the UFC in 9 days. And we obviously, he's like, he hangs up the phone with me. He's like, all right, now try and get some sleep. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't even like to run, and I'm about to go throw my shoes on and get out of here. I'm so freaking jacked up. Like, I can't.
Yeah. How do you even go back to bed?
I was up for like another 3 hours after that. I couldn't and I gave myself a headache. I got so excited.
You should have rolled over to your wife and said, all right, baby, we got to do some work right now. I got some energy. I got to go. Probably would have been the best night of her life.
Right. For everybody.
Or the shortest.
What?
Or the shortest.
Oh, yeah. Well, no.
Super excited at that point. What do you do?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm in the UFC.
Oh, no, you can't do that. All right. So what about your boys? Because when I messaged you the other day, I said, this must be awesome. You get to share this moment with your sons. And now that they're old enough to understand what the UFC is rather than when they were one, this has got to be cool. And you said,
dude,
you didn't even get the chance to tell them.
It was, and I was worried that I wouldn't get the chance to tell them because social media was going nuts. But I think what actually worked out in my favor is we got hit with that hurricane and we lost power that night that I got the call. So Tuesday night to like Saturday afternoon, we had no power. And they were at their mother's house from Wednesday to I picked them back up on Friday or early Thursday actually, because on top of it, my dad and my stepmom came into town to visit to come see the new baby. So I get this contract. I'm running around. I don't get any time to visit with them because I'm getting all my obligations taken care of. There's no power, and it's just pure chaos. So I finally get the boys home and I get the chance to tell them. I'm like, you want to know what the big surprise was? And they're like, yeah, what was it? Like they're thinking I got like some new toy or.
They were getting some new toy or some new
they thought they were getting something crazy cool for them. And then I'm like, what's been Daddy's goal? Where am I trying to go with fighting? Where have I been trying to get to for so long since before you were even born? And like one of them's like, Hartford, because that was where my last fight was, and he's like just kind of guessing, and then I'm like, nope, guess again. And they're looking around, they're like thinking, and I see one of them looks at me and he's like. His eyes like light up with like a question mark, like the UFC, and like I'm like, yep, and they both like literally like launched at me as if I had just like been, I can't even describe it, like a freaking lion on a wounded wildebeest, and they were like screaming and jumping, and like one of them had tears in his eyes. He was so excited. I didn't even think that a 7-year-old could cry tears of joy because like I'd never experienced that myself until I became a father. So it was one of the sweetest experiences of this entire trip that I'm on right now, man. Like to see the excitement in their face and how proud they were and how excited they were, and to be able to understand what a momentous occasion it was for me. Like it was cool, man. It was really, really special.
I might cry right now, dude. That story hits me. I'm an emotional dude, and so stories like that hit me right in the belly, man. And I can only imagine. Did you happen to capture that on video, like with somebody else filming it or anything?
No, unfortunately, I didn't even think to record that. Like we were just kind of, it was a spur of the moment kind of thing. We just gotten out of the car. My dad, my stepmom, and my wife and my sister-in-law are sitting outside trying to stay cool because it's so freaking hot in the house with no AC and stuff because the power is out. And then they're like, "Oh, did you tell them?" I'm like, "Not yet. I'm gonna right now though." And they're like, "Oh," and bam.
So it's not even your fault; it's all their fault for not thinking, "Hey, we should film this. He'll want to see it later."
You guys, you
guys suck. Damn.
Yeah, man.
So the boys are happy. One of your sons is crying. You know, and you said they attacked you. They jumped on you, which, you know, again, I would expect based on who they are and who their dad
almost
is.
knocked me over. They're freaking strong as hell.
So, you know, the wife's reaction, you know, she's laying there next to you when you get the call. So that's great. The son's reaction was there anybody, you know, and I hate to ask this question, but sometimes I like asking it because sometimes I get an answer to it. Is there anybody out there that's been hating on you that even though the announcement came, kind of shit on it already? Like, yeah, whatever, you know, like who cares?
You know,
because you know you have
maybe
those people out there.
Of course, but you know what? You don't want to give them any fuel, so they don't need the recognition. So
I was looking. No, you don't even have to tell me who they are. But like, you know, has there been any negative comments made? I mean, did somebody say something just, you know, kind of?
Nobody really directly
shitty?
came out and like was like shitty about it. There were some people that were clearly not as happy as the rest of us were, but nobody was ever like, yeah, whatever, fuck that guy.
Well, to those of you that are out there that are like not all that happy about this, go fuck yourself. I mean, that's all I got to say. I mean, you know, I believe that even if it's somebody that's, you know, trying to achieve the same goal and they're pissed because you got there and they think they're better than you or that kind of person, they're obviously not. So, you know, don't hate on somebody achieving something that they worked hard for. I don't like that. There's no reason for that. Now,
people are going to have their opinion no matter what you do. So just do what you do and fucking be good at it.
I mean, there's people that don't like this Christmas shirt that I'm wearing, you know, it's Bob Ross on here. but I bought
what that is?
Yeah, it's Bob Ross. But I bought it because of Violent Bob Ross. You know, Luis Antonio Pena. I was at a gas station up in Alabama, and he had just done an interview on my show, and I saw this shirt. He's like, I got to get this shirt. This is my Bob Ross, my Violent Bob Ross Christmas shirt. But yeah, let's see.
Oh yeah,
that's him. And then there's him with the Christmas hat on.
No shit. I love it.
So, you know, some people don't like my shirt. Fuck them. You don't like your shirt, don't have to wear it, man. I'm not going to let you borrow it. But you know, somebody
got their own style, bro.
That's right, man. Their style sucks too. So whatever. So, you know, you're a pretty happy dude. You know, I mean, I know you wanted this because even back then in the XFC, you know, all you guys were talking about, you know, and you know, everybody always said, you know, and you could probably attest to this. I've never heard a fighter say anything other than, I want to get to the UFC. That's why I'm doing this. Yep. Never heard anybody say, I want to get to Bellator, or I want to get to ONE, or I want to get to, you know, PFL. Although now PFL, if they come back, people are starting to say, I want to go there because there's $1 million payday at the end of the season.
Yeah, no,
so I would want to go there.
Sweet deal there.
But the goal was the UFC. Would you have been happy? Because I think you had a Bellator fight or two, if I correctly remember.
Yep. I got two of those.
Would you be happy if that was as far as you got? Or did it have to be the UFC? Or, I mean, you know, PFL could have come in and offered you the, you know, the $1 million tournament. ONE overseas, although they seem to be specializing in a little bit of a smaller group. And then there's always, you know, a big guy like you that can punch. You know, there's always the bare knuckle fighting.
Right. Well, I actually had gotten an offer to a bare knuckle fight by BKFC. I was supposed to fight. They were offering to fight Fabio Maldonado, and I was going to take the fight, but then they ended up scrapping the whole card. and it was right before I started, right before CES started doing the Hartford fights,
Right.
in my hometown. So I was like, yeah, man, I think that's a great way to earn a little bit extra cash and stay sharp with my skill set and, maybe highlight myself on another platform in some way, shape, or form.
And they pay good.
Um, and yeah, they pay great. Yeah. Yeah. I was impressed. I was like, wait, what? So yeah, done. But,
I'll punch
that
somebody in
ended
the
up
face.
falling through.
Fuck
Yeah. My wife wasn't too keen on that one. She's like, well, like, I'm like, it's really not too different than MMA. She's like, yeah, but there's no gloves. Your face is going to get mangled. I'm like, I just move my head,
They don't understand, dude. They don't
No,
understand.
no. I mean, maybe we're all a little crazy, but I love what I do, man. I think I actually end up being a better person because of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of discipline and work that goes into this, and you know, you're either all in or you're half in, and if you're only half in, you don't get the benefit of not just achieving the level of competition and sport that you want, but you don't achieve the level of humanity that comes along with being a lifelong mixed martial artist.
Right.
And you're there. You've always been a level-headed guy, head on your shoulders, even when you were younger, and at the XFC, and it was a little more wild and a little more fun.
Yeah, a little more goofy.
Yeah, you were still like, you're almost like the dad in the room.
I'm still goofy. I'm just even more of a dad now.
Yeah, you are more of a dad now. I mean, there's no like three little suckers running around going, "Yep, that's my dad."
Yeah.
Well, two running around. The other one's not moving around like that yet, but soon.
Nah, he just sits there and screams right now until you put a bottle in his mouth.
Thanks, Dad.
No problem, kiddo.
So, so you're on this UFC 252 card, heavyweight fight. You're making your debut. You get the call. You're going to be fighting the UFC. Have you thought about the gravity of the card you're on? And I also want you to make a pick of Miocic or Cormier.
Okay, so yeah, I definitely was like, I didn't even realize I was going to be on that card until I like looked at the date, and then they're like, yo, that's UFC Apex. It's the Cormier Miocic fight. And I was like, wait, what? And I'm like, I'm going to be on the undercard for that. I'm like, I'm going to be fighting in the same ring as those dudes for their trilogy match. Like, this is awesome. This is nuts. Like, I can't miss this opportunity. But I think
it'll look more like this behind me. I just jumped out of the Contender Series decor and I set it up for UFC Fight Night. So this is what you'll be like. I'm just trying to get you comfy.
I feel it. But I don't know, man. I think it's a tough call because I think the first time that they met up, I think Stipe underestimated Cormier, and Cormier just came in and he's really good at coming up with a game plan and sticking to it and make sure that it happens. And then for the rematch, Stipe came out lighter, faster, and I think. Cormier said it himself too. He just kind of got too comfortable because he was tagging him up, and then he made a mistake. Especially at the bigger weight classes, anything can change in a moment's notice when you got guys over 200 pounds throwing hands.
Yeah, that sucks.
But I mean, if I have to absolutely pick one or the other, I think Stipe is going to keep his belt.
All right, so now we're going to go back to that first fight. Daniel Cormier told everybody days before the fight exactly how the fight was going to end. He called his shot. He said, this is what's going to happen. We're going to get in the clean. He's going to do this. He's going to drop there, and I'm just going to crack him, and it's going to be over. It's exactly what happened. His fight IQ is head and shoulders above everybody.
Yeah,
him and Dominic Cruz, they just, mind blowing at the knowledge, but the implementation of the knowledge. And
right. It's like they're in the Matrix, man. It's freaking
crazy.
Wild.
So in the first fight, he came out there and he was on fire. He did exactly what he said he was going to do because he knew Stipe was going to do exactly what he did, and he finished him. In the second fight, DC was winning the whole fight. And then he, like you said, he even came out. He said, I made a mistake. I got comfortable. I got a little sloppy, and I lost. There's nobody more committed to greatness in the UFC in this era than Daniel Cormier.
No, I can agree with that.
It consumes him. Yeah. It consumes him. It drives him. And then you have Stipe, who, could have come back prior to this. He's been, just kind of sitting around lollygagging. when they could have done this fight earlier. This fight actually could have been the first pay-per-view comeback, because he was healthy, his eye was good, because he was working the firehouse, but I want to, and I've been very critical about Stipe and his commitment to being the UFC champion. I don't think he has the same commitment and desire that a guy like DC does. Now, we all know DC is going to retire, win, lose, or draw.
Right.
But it still means more to him to be the champion than I think it does to Stipe. Stipe is a new dad. He's got, a 2-year-old daughter or something now.
Yep.
He wants to be a fireman. And, he made excuses, like people were coming after him because he wanted to take the DC fight. He's like, well, I'm working at the firehouse during the pandemic, and I can't train. Well, while you're saying you can't train, that first weekend of fights, 66 fighters made it to the octagon. They all found a way because they wanted to fight. That says to me that his heart isn't in it the way it should be. Using the firehouse as an excuse, people get offended when I say it, but he's a part-time firefighter. So he's not out there, on 24, off 48, on 24, off 48. He's not working a full firehouse schedule. Even during the pandemic, he wasn't. And I know that because I know a buddy who's very close connected up there and, has close connections with that team. So I know what's going on. He just, there's something to me that says Stipe is an animal. Stipe is, most title defenses in UFC heavyweight history, which is still hard to believe that this late in the UFC that, 4 is the number,
Yeah. Well, I mean, like if you even like 7-8 years ago, that belt was getting passed around left and right, man. Like somebody would come in, hold on to it for like.
Lesnar had the record before, Stipe.
Yeah, so that was what, 3?
3.
Yeah.
Or 2. I don't remember. It was 2 or 3.
It might have even been 2, yeah.
That's just crazy. Now, Daniel won the belt, defended the belt, lost the belt. Now if he gets the belt back, people are saying this is going to determine who the greatest heavyweight of all time is. Don't know.
I think that's a tough call. That like the greatest heavyweight of all time.
For the other weight divisions, middleweight, Anderson Silva, no doubt.
Yeah. Hands down.
Welterweight, George St. Pierre. Light heavyweight, John Jones. Lightweight is another one that's tough. People are saying,
that's a stacked division
because nobody's amassed more than like 3 or 4, and Ben Henderson is one of them.
Yep.
So with the most defenses, along with Frankie Edgar, and to me, as good as Khabib is, undefeated and all that stuff, all those fights weren't in the UFC. But I always pick Frankie Edgar as the greatest lightweight of all time. You know why?
Right.
Because when Frankie was the lightweight champion, he walked to the octagon at 155. He walked around the world at 155. So on fight night, he was 155.
That's
fighting
true.
Guys that were rehydrating to 170 and 180 and still beating ass. The only true lightweight champion. And that's the only division that that has happened in other than heavyweight because, if you walk in at 264, and that's your walk weight, well, then you achieve, like Daniel's going to come in at, 245. Stevie's going to come in about 250. They're 240, whatever. And that's kind of where they walk, within a few pounds.
Yeah, they're not too
other
far
division,
off.
These guys are, 125 or they're cutting down from 150 to get to 125,
Right.
And here was Frankie, the smallest guy in the lightweight division, holding down the belt, and he's got the most defenses in history. So Khabib is awesome, but Khabib probably walks around at 180, 185.
Yeah, no, he's pretty big for the weight class.
He's shoving around Daniel Cormier in the gym. He's strong, and that you need some weight to do that. So, tell us about your opponent for this upcoming match because he's also making his debut.
You probably know more about him at this point than I do. I mean, I know he's 8-3 and he's got 7 of those 8 wins by TKO or stoppage. And then I guess he comes to bang. I heard he was actually getting ready for a title fight this past weekend before he got the call for this. So he's going to come ready in game, and I'm expecting this to be a good matchup. I think stylistically, we match up well for a really entertaining fight. Like I think it's going to be. It's either going to be one of those 3-round bangers, or it's going to be over pretty quick. Somebody's going to get caught.
Yeah, I mean, you're at 10-5 right now. He's at 8-3, relatively the same, spots as far as experience in your career. I mean, a couple more fights for you, but It's still relative to the same experience, fight experience, and that's fine. He is he is a big, he likes to get out of there quick.
Yeah.
Let me just double check this here. He's on a 1-win streak. So that means he lost. He's won in one in his last one. So he lost to Azuna Anyuonu. He got knocked out in round 2. And I guess he was the main event. And then he beat Danny Holmes with the first round knockout. Yeah, the other one, first round. Yeah. All right, so, we know about him. I mean, I don't know that much about him either. I think I know more about you, obviously. But I looked him up yesterday a little bit. He's a tough kid. But you're a tough man. So I mean, it's like, and as a heavyweight, if the one division I think you can get away with, and when I say this, it's no disrespect to any heavyweight fighter out there, including you. It's the one division I think you can get away with sometimes, but not having the most perfect, well-rounded game, because you guys all rely on power for for something to drive you. So if you're a wrestler, your strength is your power, and your striking may not be super crisp, but you could put everybody on their ass, and once you get on top of them, you can pound them. You don't even have to be the best striker to pound somebody when you're on top of them.
Right.
And then if you're a striker, and your wrestling, isn't great, you've counted on your striking, it got you to here. So you can almost lack a little. You shouldn't, but you almost can get away with it in the heavyweight division a little bit more because everybody respects each other's power. Nobody's gonna stand there and just start let's just beat except for maybe Ngannou. He just goes out there and goes wild. Everybody loves that guy and they're all sold on him, but he's not technically proficient at all. He just
just blow your head off when he connects.
He's got a huge reach, and he's able to land. Luckily, most of the time, in my opinion, like I said, because there's no technical prowess to how he throws. Everybody said nobody wants to fight him, but even if DC fought him, let's say DC wins the fight, like I said he's going to. If he were to fight Francis, stay around for one more fight Francis, I think he'd beat Francis because, Stipe already beat him. And DC is, going back to, because I never finished because I went a little sideways. But DC is more well-rounded than Stipe in every aspect of it, even the striking at this point, I believe. And DC would do better against Francis. I think he would actually control Francis and finish Francis on the ground. For this fight with Stipe, I just think he brings more to the table. I think he's more invested in being the champion. And, physically, they can both knock each other out. We've already seen it.
Yeah.
So that's it. So now this fight is going to become DC. And DC said, he goes, I'm telling you guys, I'm going to use my wrestling. I'm going to fucking smother him. I'm going to fucking stay on top of him. I'm going to pound him down. And I don't think Stipe is going to be able to hang with DC when he starts in that wrestling mode. We've seen it before. And when DC starts to wrestle, he's a hard man to move because not just because of his body weight, but because of his skill set.
Yeah, he's at like an elite level with his wrestling skill set. Like
he's scary.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want him on top of me, even if I was, a professional fighter and I had wrestling ability. I still wouldn't want that guy on top of me because he's like, white on rice. Fucking
he's all over you. Pressure, and everywhere you turn, when you think you can get up, he's like right there again.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I'm taking him to win. And I think I would pick DC in any fight, even though he lost to Stipe once. I still think I would pick DC anytime he fights, unless he's fighting John Jones. That's the only guy I'll always pick against DC because I've never picked anybody to beat John Jones. I rooted for Oven St. Preux to beat John Jones because he was an XFC guy, and Oven's got the shot. He's like, "Oh, come on, Oven, you can do it." I picked him to win, but I knew he wasn't going to. I'm not disrespect to Owens. It's John Jones, and there may come a point where it becomes like Anderson Silva and he can be beat, or some of these other guys that go on long runs and end up being beat. But I think he'll retire before that ever happens because he don't want to go out like that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see him staying in longer than he should.
BJ Penn stayed in way too long, and look at it now. His record's horrible. It's hard to consider him he's earned a Hall of Fame shot, but other than that, it's still hard to consider him one of the greatest ever because of the way he went out, and those are the memories you have because they're the last ones you see. And then of course, all the drunken partying and fighting in Hawaii. he's kind of really tarnished his legacy. But he's a pioneer, so there's that.
He is. He's got that in his hat.
People get mad when I say that when I say this stuff about a BJ or something, like that. And then I love John Jones. They all get me. Why? Well, John Jones is John Jones. I've loved him for a long time. I think he's the great fighter we might see for a long time. I don't see anybody else coming up doing what he's doing. And he's fought the who's who of who. He's fought everybody. There's not even really anybody that could fight him right now in his division. So I'm hoping they give him the money he wants and they put the Francis fight together. That'll be so selling. I want to be there.
That would be a great fight.
So let's talk about one more thing that's not about you, because you guys came up through the rankings together at different divisions, but at the same time, Nick Newell. How happy were you? I mean, Nick got a shot in the Contender Series. He put him in against a really tough wrestler. He didn't get the contract, but he got signed to Bellator, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
I love Nick, his determination, his grit, and he's just legitimately a badass fighter. How happy were you when you see another guy that started around the same time as you doing this pro and same kind of? And
I've always liked Nick. And Nick is like, I'm stoked for him. I mean, he just had his second baby with his wife. He's got that gym down in Milford, I think, about an hour away from me. I'd be down there every day training with him if it wasn't so far. For me, it just schedule wise, it makes it difficult for me to commit to being there daily. But no, I was stoked for him, man. Like, there's not a person I think in the local area, myself included, that deserves what he's gotten more than he does. Like, he's just worked so hard and he's overcome so much horseshit that people give him about, like, oh, you're just a one-trick pony or this or that, or you're just, like, you're a gimmick, you're just a draw or whatever. Like, people just want to come see you watch you fight because of your condition and stuff. And it's just like, nah, man, he never ever let that be some kind of thing that just slows him down. Like, he just powered right through it. And like, I've grappled with him a bunch of times. And like, he's slick, man. He's a big 55er and he's strong as shit. And he'll catch you.
And he's skilled.
That guillotine he's got is disgusting.
Yeah, when he won the title at XFC against Eric Reynolds, and I remember Pat Miletich was interviewing him, and he was making reference to not being able to grab the hand because there's nothing there. Almost saying like that was an advantage for Nick. I think he actually said it was an advantage for Nick, and Nick made a comment like, "There's no advantage. How can Nick was. And I don't remember Nick's exact quote, but there's no advantage. You can't say a guy with only one fully developed arm has any kind of advantage. A physical advantage. I felt that was a little weird. But Nick handled it like a pro, like he always does. He answers.
That's another thing I really like about Nick. I admire that a lot. Is like his level of professionalism and to really just call it like it is. Like, we're not sugarcoating anything. This is the way it is. I'm not trying to be a dick, but like, here's how it is, man. Those are the facts. I've always liked that and respected that about him.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. And like you say, just had the baby, his first son. Oh my God, that kid is so freaking cute,
freaking adorable.
What the hell is going on over there? This next baby is going to be beautiful too. Of
course.
So I have a grandson now. He's the cutest little son of a gun. He's almost 2, and he's running and walking and jumping and riding our little scooter, knocking his mother over. I love everything that he does to annoy his mom. I just do. And he talks, and like, I got a video a couple of weeks ago. He's really speaking now, and it says, "Hi, Grandpa." I'm like, oh my God. But I get videos every day. We chat with him on the phone every day, and he'll say, "Hi, Grandpa." And now he says it even clearer. He's got the "I love you" down. He also learned how to say "fuck." No. So we yelled at his mother because she was telling us a story. How he said it. She lives up in Pennsylvania, and said somebody was over the house visiting a roommate, and I guess they were yelling upstairs, and she's telling a story, and all of a sudden she goes, "JJ just yelled fuck," and he's standing next to her while he's telling the story. I just hear him going, "Fuck, fuck," and I'm like, and she's laughing. I'm like, "Hey, Anna, stop laughing."
No,
Tell
yeah,
him no.
you're gonna regret that.
I said, man, I said, you're going to take him to go visit your grandma, the one who's very godly and spiritual, and he's going to drop the F-bomb right in front of your grandma, and she's going to kill you.
Yep, that's exactly what's gonna happen.
Now, when I heard him say it, I'm not going to lie, I wanted to laugh, but I chose not to laugh till right now.
Until where he couldn't see you.
Yeah, because our daughter doesn't watch my show. She don't give a shit about MMA. You know, no love support. But it's all right, man. But yeah, so those moments, you know, with the little ones, you know, and like I said, you know, he's so cute, you know, and he just, you know, and Nick's kids are cute, and my boy Phil Rowe just had a baby, and his little girl is so freaking adorable. Ryan Quinn just had a baby boy a little while back, you know, and like, you know, Ryan Quinn, what a transformation that kid has made from life, moving up north, committing to moving down to Florida, going to American Top Team. Now he's a black belt there. He's a wrestling coach. He's married. I think he's going to end up being a cop. He's got a beautiful wife. They got a baby. He bought a house. I love that kid. And him and I share the same birthday, and we both love the Jets. So we're both just stupid. But I mean, you know, it's the January 22nd curse, I guess. But so many people came from that era of us and the XFC that I've seen succeed. And you're just another one adding to that. And, you know, I'm not supposed to have bias as a journalist, but I'm pretty open about being biased about a few people. You know, Mike Perry, I'll always be biased in his corner. He came up on the scene down here. I love him. I know he's done some crazy shit, but, you know, a lot of people do crazy shit when they're young. You know, my boy Phil Rowe just got in. My friend Hannah Goldie got in. You know, so these are people, you know, Nick Newell, I'll always be in his corner. And now I have to add you to the list of, all right, I'm biased for Parker Porter, son of a bitch.
Hopefully I make it so you don't have to be biased.
Yeah, just go out there and finish people and be like, why should I not pick this guy? He just knocked out 7 dudes in a row. Go fuck yourself. So before I let you go, man, your feeling level on a scale of 1 to 10, encompassing, you know, emotion and everything that you're feeling. On a scale of 1 to 10, are you at a 10 right now? Because if you're at a 10, you're peaking. It's too high. We got to bring you down to like a 6. We got to get you down.
I'm at a 10 for sure, bro. It's been an absolute trip from the minute I hung up that phone. Like, I don't want to come down yet.
Well, come down a little, man, because it's fight week now. You don't want to be way up here. You know, you got that fight in front of you. Got to take care of.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I'm up there, but I'm in control of it. Like,
all right.
I'm just kind of breathing it all in and
don't make me come to Vegas and beat your ass.
Please don't. I'm fragile.
I need a weapon or two. I'm looking around right now, you know, for a weapon. Hey, and if by the way,
I could grab.
If somebody runs up to you in Vegas and hold on. It looks like this. It's probably me.
All right. I'll be ready.
So at least you know that after I, like, you know, do a Nancy Kerrigan, you know, whatever. Who's the girl that kicked Nancy Kerrigan's leg out? You know,
Tanya
Harding. So when I take your leg out, you'll know at least it was me. You know,
fair.
What if I can even put my glasses on and, you know, try to ride out like this?
That looks painful.
It does. Ta-da! I always keep that around just for shits and giggles.
It's a good one.
I have a Spider-Man one somewhere, but I can't find it, man. I wore it once and I threw it in the studio, and now I don't know where the hell it is. I don't know if I left it in the octagon or if I left it in the bare knuckle ring behind me. You know, sometimes I'm all over the place, you know, like, you know, this is cool with this like site that I'm using, you know, just to be goofy. I can go to like all different kinds of, you know, just a straight brick wall. If you like that look, I can go to this one because it's trippy, man.
It is kind of trippy. It's a little blurry.
Take you away. Well, I can go to Fight Island.
Nice.
Now, you know, or I could just go generic into a studio, you know, if I wanted to do that, you know, it's like, well, whatever, you know. But I like being in the, well, let's see, because you're in the, so this is where you are, because this is where you're going to be this week. Have you had a chance to go over to the PI or check anything out? I know you just arrived today.
No, yeah. I just got in. I did my COVID test. I gotta wait wait for the results before they let me out. Until then, I'm under lockdown and quarantine. So we got a separate room where we were able to go get a training session in real quick and get a sweat going and get our bodies moving from being on the flight and everything. And that felt
Or
good.
did that big nasty nasal swab?
No, they did it throat swab.
I think that's better.
It was painless, actually. I didn't even gag.
Yeah. Well, listen, brother. I think we touched on all the bases: your opponent, the fight, the motions, your boys. I really wish you had a video of the boys. That would be something awesome to see. Just see that moment of you and them sharing. Because now again,
it was it was really special.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to have somebody recreate that, for the after school special they make about you. I don't know.
Right.
But listen, man, even though we haven't spoken in a long time, like I said, I always keep an eye out on people, especially from that time in our lives with the XFC. There's so much talent that's out there. I mean, you, Nick, Scott Holtzman, Carla Esparza, Felice Herrig, they're Owen St. Preux. I mean, there's a bunch more too, and I can't remember all the fucking names. That's how crazy it is. But I'm happy for you, man. I've watched, from a distance, how you've, taken care of life as a man and, continue to do the fighting thing. And even though you had some bumps in the road, you were still able to get back to it. Because it was a dream and you didn't have to give up your dream. You just had to detour around some shit and then get right back on that path. And you did it, man.
Longer trip than we planned on. Traffic was a little thicker.
Like the Grateful Dead says, what a long, strange trip it's been, I mean, and that's exactly true, dude. So, it's okay to have this journey because this was the journey that was intended for you. I fully believe that everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, even if we don't understand why. And that's why it happened for you. So it happened at the right time when you were ready to handle all of it. Otherwise, I agree. It wouldn't happen. 10 years ago, you might have gone in, you might have washed out.
Yeah.
I think you understand now that what you have to do to get there. And, now you understand that it's going to even be harder to stay there. Yeah. So you got to go in and do your thing.
No, now the real work begins.
Yeah, I think you're mentally ready for all of it. As much physically, you've been there the whole time, but it's a mental thing, and some of us aren't. I'm 51 and I'm still not a grown up.
I'll probably never grow up.
I'm putting on Nacho Libre mask and wearing Bob Ross t-shirts. What the fuck is wrong with me? I mean, so but in all reality, man, it happened to you this way for the right reasons, and it's a blessing. So enjoy every minute of it, and stay up there at a 10, but just, keep control of it, like you said, or I'll have to come out to Vegas and, Tanya Harding your knees or something, dude, because I don't want you to fight. I don't want you to fight in the wrong mind frame.
No. I'm feeling good, man.
And I'll tell you, the good thing is, even though it's a UFC card and it's a pay-per-view and it's a big pay-per-view, I think guys like you that are debuting during the pandemic have a little bit of an advantage because with the small, limited amount of people in the arena, it's almost got a regional
vibe to
feel.
It. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not that it is. I mean, you'll see the bright lights in the UFC and you'll hear all this stuff. But because there's a small, limited crowd, it almost has a beginning regional feel. And I think because, most guys come from the regionals, they don't really do big shows before they get there. Unless you fought with the XFC and we had big shows.
Yeah.
So you've had that experience too. But I think it gives you a little advantage. The octagon jitters that people talk about that say are real.
Right.
I don't know. I don't find the octagon, but I think for you, you're like, I fought on the XFC. I fought on TV before. I know what's going on, but it's still a little different.
Yeah.
I
think that's a leg up that I have, in this situation where I do have the experience of being in front of the big crowd like that and being on televised fights and shit. So
we're training you back then for your journey today.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Tommy Caserto told me I don't know if he messaged you, but you remember Tommy from XFC?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. When I told him you got in, he's like, "Oh, fucking A, right. That's fucking awesome. I got to fucking message him." I don't know if he ever did, but he's so happy and thrilled for you. So you check your messages or whatever. He probably messaged you.
I'll have to check. He probably messaged me while we were in here.
No, he might have messaged you before this, man. So, I mean, when you got in, I told him days ago, I texted him. I was like, "Dude, Parker Porter's in the UFC." I got excited. I texted him. I texted Prisco. Texted a few other people too, man. So, but anyway, brother, I'm going to let you go ahead and it's only 8:30 there, so you still got some time. But, And I know I could probably keep you on here longer because you're quarantined right now. So there ain't much else you could do except talk to me or watch TV. And I'm more fun than TV, let's be honest with you. But
Fair.
But I also
do
know you
have to go to the bathroom.
Well, I'm sure you do, man. Don't bring us for that. We don't ever want to have that on the show.
No.
So before you go, I didn't tell you this during any of the messages, and there's something first-time guests are required to do on my show, and yep, so it's not tough, it's not going to hurt you or nothing. Maybe your ego or pride a little bit, I don't know, but it's been something I've done, for years on the show, and people like it. The fans, followers watch it, and I'm sure some of your friends and fans that will watch us later on, because this is normally out of my time slot. So, I don't know what even viewers we have right now, but I always get good looks on the second time around when I share it to other groups. But I always ask people on my show, first-time guests, to sing.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. And listen, I'm just going to tell you, you can't say no, because I've had Dominic Cruz on the show and I've had other huge stars on the show, and they sing. Even if they sing badly, they sing. And I don't care if you sing a TV show commercial, or a fucking, McDonald's commercial, but you have to sing the word. You can't just go ba-da-ba-ba-ba, because that's bullshit.
All right.
So you
How
have to
much
sing
of it do I have to sing?
Huh?
I don't have to sing like a whole song, right? What if I don't know all the words?
But you can't go, like Akon has that song "Smack That." You can't go smack that, smack that, because that's not singing. That's just dropping a hook, and that's bullshit. So you got to give me a little lyrical content is what I asked for. So, ladies and gentlemen, here he is making his singing debut on K-Side with Christopher James. And I always say it like this: the velvety voice of Mr. Parker Porter.
Let's see. My kids have really been feeling Lean on Me, Bill Withers. So I guess I'll go with that. Sometimes in my life, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on.
I
just might have a problem that you'd understand.
We all need somebody to lean on.
Lean on me.
All right, brother.
There we go. We got it. That was a great duet, man. That was fucking awesome. We should be climbing up the charts on Rolling Stone and YouTube.
That's after this UFC contract. We're gonna go get a record contract.
All right, dude, man. We'll call it Parker Porter and the old Jewish guy. Well, listen, brother. Before we let you go, again, happy for you, proud of you for everything you've accomplished up to this point. Obviously, I'm pulling for you for the win. If you want to shout out any sponsors, teammates, friends, family right now, the stage is yours, bro.
Big thank you to my wife at home, especially taking care of our newborn baby and holding down the fort and being able to entertain my dad, my stepmom for me while I ran around and got all my last minute medicals and flight itineraries squared away. Huge thank you to Top Game Management, Tyson over there, just blowing my mind on last Tuesday a week ago with all this information. I got a shout out to my corners. These guys have been with me for a long time. One of them was my wrestling coach, Kia Galampur, and then my longtime cut man and training partner, Dan Freychek. We've been together for about 8 years now, maybe more. Yeah, man, I don't even know. I'll keep you here forever, thanking everybody under the sun.
That's okay, man.
To everybody
I got more time than money, dude, so it's good.
Yeah, to everybody along the way that's ever had a chance to train with me or help me in some way on this journey, thank you.
Well, listen, man, thank you for doing it the way you've been doing it, man, following the right path and being a good man, father, husband, dad, and all that other good stuff, man. You're one of the good ones, man. Happy to see you get this dream opportunity. And, you know, I know you're going to go out there and give it your all and make the most of it. So good luck. God bless. We'll be watching you on Saturday night, man. Again, boys and girls, you've been watching me with the man himself, Parker Porter. This is Cage Side with Christopher James. First time Parker's on the show. If you're just tuning in, make sure you clip to the end of the video about 2 minutes ago where he did a rousing rendition of Rain on Me. I even jumped in a little help out, at the end because, he did so good. I was feeling it. I felt I had to keep the song going on.
Nah, don't lie. I panicked and started screwing up the lyrics.
Dude, no, you didn't panic, dude. You said, all right, my sons are digging this Bill Withers song. I just did it. So, but you enjoy the rest of your night, man. Enjoy fight week. And enjoy it all, dude. You've earned this spot. Nice. Even though it came out of the clear blue sky, you still earned it. And that's why it showed up when it did. So always keep that in your head, man. You were never gifted it, you earned it, and you worked your way there, and that's why you're fighting in the UFC on this historic heavyweight card, man. And it's cool to make your arrival on this card. Go out there and just get a big win, and people will be talking about you on this card. You might even be talking about you more than the two guys in the main event if you do it right. So fuck them. Go out there and put on the show, man. But listen, man, I'll let you go, man. Go get some rest. Enjoy the rest of the night. And like I said, enjoy fight week, man. And thanks for taking the time. And we'll catch up again real soon. Be well, stay blessed, and enjoy it all, bro.
Thanks, man. You too. Thanks for having me on the show.
Anytime, brother. All right, boys and girls, that was the man, Parker Porter, man. He was on the show with us tonight, man. What a cool guy. Again, I've watched this guy, from the beginning of his career, from up north. He came down and fought with us at the XFC, and now he's in the UFC, making his debut on the UFC 252 card. This weekend, Cormier versus Miocic Part 3. Also, I'd like to let me see before I jump off the air here. Let me see if I can get him on the messenger here, and I might be able to get him. You never know. I'm trying to reach out to Impa Kasunganai. He was supposed to hit me up after the show, so I'm going to see if I can get him to jump in with us live now that he's got his contract. What the hell, right? We got a minute to hang out. But contracts tonight we're giving out to 5 folks on Dana White's Contender Series. And Impa Kasunganai, he's actually going to be fighting in 11 days. He's going to get a fight on the 22nd. He made that announcement. I'm ready to fight the 22nd the week after, and Dana gave it to him. Dana said he had some questions, and he goes, we'll get him answered on the 22nd, and then I'll know. But he's getting a contract. TJ Laramie got a contract. Corey McKenna got a contract. Adrian Yanez, first round brutal finish of Brady Huang. That was nasty. And Dustin Stoltzfus, another nasty finish. He slammed Joseph Yanez and dislocated the kid's elbow and arm. It was nasty to watch. Dana White was grossed out about it. I put a post up on my Facebook page. You guys can see it over there. And check out the Dana's reaction, but it was nasty. So I'm going to give Impa a minute here to see if he can respond. I'm sure he's getting all the media crush right now from everybody else. But, yeah, he was supposed to give me a shout-out tonight. He didn't get my shout-out. I'm so sad. No, I'm just kidding. I don't care. I knew he was going to forget. He told me he was going to do it, but I knew he was going to forget because how could you remember? Such a great moment for that kid. I'm so happy for him. I'm glad he got this contract tonight. He'll be fighting in 11 days, which is incredible. So, he's an Island Fights veteran, announced him a couple of times for us last year. Truly a good guy, nice guy, ready to party, inside the octagon. He's not a party animal like that when I say it, but that's the way it goes. So, and all the fighters tonight, everybody that won, did a good job. So, yeah, I'm not even going to wait around. He's not going to be available. I know he is. I'll probably catch him tomorrow, maybe in the afternoon. But guys, thanks for tuning into the show tonight. I hope you enjoyed it, man. My conversation with Parker Porter making his debut this weekend at UFC 252. Yeah. And he's taking on a young man named Christopher Daukaus. Daukaus. I can't even say his name right. I'm, one of those days. But he'll be taking him on. It's 2 heavyweights, both making their debut. So I like the fact that they're debuting against each other instead of, somebody that's, more seasoned in the rankings or in the division. It's good. Give him fights that are, equal. I'm sure either one would take a short notice against the top heavyweight, of course, but this is better for both of them in the beginning of their career. So, guys, thanks for taking time to tune in with us tonight, man. I appreciate it. And I'm going to have Cody Durden on later this week. I'm going to have Justin James on. We're going to do UFC 252 preview show. I'm also going to have my buddy Garrett Kerman, a.k.a. the Fight Analyst, coming on probably Saturday afternoon with us to give us a little insight on how to bet on MMA. Until then, until next time, thanks for being a part of my life. And for you guys, let me be a part of yours even for a little while. I appreciate it more than I could ever put into actual words. So until next time, I am Christopher James, and y'all, you've been Cage Side. Good night, everybody.